Working with agents has become a very popular strategy for wholesale real estate, and rightfully so. It's zero marketing cost to work with agents to get leads that are distressed real estate that we can either purchase to flip or we can wholesale for a profit. Now, on this video, I want to specifically talk about one aspect of working with agents, and that's agent outreach or cold calling agents. Now, I like to call this the shotgun method because you're sort of spraying the market like a bird shot. And rather than targeting specific listed properties for sale, you're going to just reach out to any agent in your market that you're wholesaling in. And you're going to try to create a relationship where they then bird dog leads for you and bring you distressed real estate. That's the goal. That when they sit down on a listing appointment, that they're going to talk to a distressed seller, they're going to find a property in original condition or needs a lot of work. And rather than list it, refer it, or reject it, they call you, you work out a deal and offer a cash offer to that seller and get the deal done. So that's the objective of agent outreach. So if you've heard of that term, agent outreach, what is that exactly? It's just cold calling agents in your market. Now, there's a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this. And so I've been working on this for quite some time. I now transact millions of dollars a year with agents. My students are now hitting that $1 million a year range as well, just with agents. So this is very valuable to learn how to do this at a high level and do this really well. Now, last week from the date of this recording, I did a workshop here in Puerto Rico with my good friend and agent expert, Jamil Damji. And we were in a small group setting. There was maybe 15 people that had come. And for 3 days straight, we just hit it hard and we got on the phones and we had each of the participants get on the phones, and then Jamil and I would break down their calls, give them feedback. And many of these people are performing at a pretty high level. And it hit me just how much room there is to improve in cold calling agents and talking to agents. So this is something I've been working on for some time. I feel really excited about the release of this, but I want to show you my exact scripts for how to do agent outreach at a high level. And don't worry, I'm going to give all of this to you for free. I have all of this in a download. If you go to agentofferscripts.com, you can download everything I'm about to show you. So don't feel like you need to write all this down or take exact notes. You can actually get the exact scripts I'm going to go through right now and have those at your disposal. Okay. So again, that's agentofferscripts.com. I'll put that back up here in a minute. First thing that I want to talk about here is let me set the ground for this. Let me kind of lay out the context of what we're going to be talking about here. Again, just to be clear here, the objective here is cold outreach to get agents to bird dog leads for you. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. We want to get off-market leads from agents. And if you think about this, agents, they do marketing or they get referrals and they go on listing appointments and they're going to meet a seller at their property and they're going to decide, okay, here's a seller, they want to sell their property. What do I do here? And when they go on those listing appointments, oftentimes when it's a distress situation, those agents don't really know how to handle that. They do know that it's going to be a lot of work if they take that listing on for a very small fee, maybe 3% list fee. And so for most agents, it's just not worth it. They turn those away. Maybe they will refer that to another agent that's new or something that's willing to take on all the extra work. Or maybe they might be already working with an investor that can give them a cash offer. So we want to be outbounding these agents to try to set up these relationships where they then will bring those leads to us. That's the goal here. And again, this is really comes down to, good sales. And this is where this can be a recipe for disaster, where I've seen this go really poorly and where it can be a complete waste of time if you do this wrong. Because if you come across like it's a sales pitch and you're scripted or you're monotone, you're going to get shut down. They're not going to work with you. They're not even going to listen. They're going to say, no, I'm good. Thank you for the call, but I'm not interested. If you're unable to find the pain and squeeze it, good sales is about finding the pain, sticking the knife in it, turning it so that you can then provide the solution. The whole reason why we do everything is to avoid the pain right now or to avoid future pain. It's all about the pain right now or future pain. How do I stop that from happening? That's what sales is all about. And so distressed real estate sucks for agents. Help them see that and squeeze that. Also, if you're unable to help the agent catch the vision, you can literally triple their commissions. And I'm going to show how we imply that in our scripts and how we actually are very directive about that. But you need to help that agent understand that they will make a lot of money working with you. If you're unable to bring that to their awareness, then this is not going to work well. If you're unable to stand out, Agent outreach has become very popular. They're getting calls from a lot of wholesalers. It's competitive. How do you stand out from the last call that they got? You got to be remembered. If you're not remembered, then all of this is for nothing. And the other thing is, if you're unable to create a competitive advantage, what is special about you? If there's nothing special about you, then why should they save your number and call you the next time they go on a distressed listing appointment? So that's where this can be a complete disaster. So, how do we make this successful? How do we turn this into a big success? How do you dominate agent outreach, right? How do you just kill it with agent outreach? If you watch me or someone like my friend Jamil, we are just masters on the phone. It feels natural. You can feel a connection happening there. And it's all about three things: asking the right questions, and that puts you in a position of authority. The one asking the questions is the one in control. This is where you also uncover pain. It's asking the right questions at the right time. Timing is everything with the questions. I was coaching my students, and it was like they had the script and they would ask the questions. The agent would respond. They would just ask the next question. And sometimes it's not in the right order. You got to be able to feel this out and know when to ask those questions. And when you ask those questions at the right time, it's disarming it. The guard comes down, trust is built. So it's very important that the timing is right. And then this is the one where it really hit me this past week, that tonality is the glue to all of this. The tone to your questions is what gives meaning to the questions. And really, we're going to talk about 5 main tones. I call this the 5 C's of tonality. And a lot of this I learned from Jeremy Miner. He's a sales coach, and I've done a lot of his training. But you really want to be hitting on this tonality. You could be curious in your tone. You could be confused. It could be a challenging tone. It could be a concerned tone, or a cheerful or playful tone. So always remember the 5 C's. Honestly, it doesn't even matter when exactly you use these 5 different tones, as long as you're using them often and constant. When I go through the scripts, I'll kind of lay out some of the ways that I like to use these different tones. And if you watch my videos I put out tons of videos. You can probably have hundreds of hours of content on my YouTube channel where I'm doing this live, and you get to watch me talk to the agent, and you'll see me. You'll see me sometimes. I'll be, hey, I'm curious. Tell me, how do you handle this? Or what do you think about this? Or I'll be confused. I'll be like, I'm not really following like where you came up with this list price. Help me understand, why are you listed at 199 when the ARV is 175? Help me understand what your thought process is. I'm confused. Or I'll challenge them. I'll be like, look, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing that where you think the value is that. So I'll have it more of a challenging. Now be careful with challenging, because you definitely have to have rapport before you start challenging. Or I'll be concerned. I'll be, man, that must be really hard to go on a listing appointment and the place is full of crap from floor to ceiling, and you got to somehow sell that. Man, that would be really hard to be an agent in that situation, right? I'm concerned now. Or cheerful, like, hey, I'm so excited to be able to talk to you about this. So anyway, it's these different tones that give the meaning to the questions you're asking. Okay, let's dive into these scripts. Now, I really feel like if you implement this, it's going to be night and day in how you're doing outreach. I think it's going to be a game changer for you. So let me walk through this. I'm going to show you some do's and don'ts as we go through this. So I like to start out with, hey, John, it's Jerry Norton. And it's sort of confused a little bit. Now it's intentional, because I'm sort of trying to disarm them, or I'll come across very familiar. Hey, John, it's Jerry Norton. And the idea there is like they're thinking to themselves, okay, Jerry, how do I know Jerry? Do I go to church with Jerry? Is he a friend of mine? Have I worked with him before? Is he another agent? Like, who's Jerry? Because I'm coming across like I know him. Again, whether it's concerned, curious, whatever it is, it's disarming because it's throwing them off. It's getting them out of their reptilian brain, which is to have a wall up. Remember, every sales call, the prospect subconsciously is blocking whatever's going on. And you do this too. Everybody does this, because your fight or flight's engaged, and you're going to try to block this. Your guard's up. So it would be, John, it's Jerry Norton. I'm looking here and I see, now I got a couple different ways I do this. I'm looking here and I see, option 1, you sold a property recently on 123 Main Street. Now, instantly they're going to be like, okay, yeah, I remember selling that property. Why are they calling me? Is this the IRS? Did I forget to pay a fee? Was this the buyer? Are they upset about what they, like they're sort of like, what do you ask? Yeah, I did. And why are you asking? Now, what I do when I do cold outreach is I'll look at the agent, I'll go to their website and I'll see, okay, here's all their recent transactions, and I'll pick a property. It doesn't have to be distressed, but it's just an address that I know they'll remember that I bring into the conversation. That's one option. Now, you don't have to do it that way. I like to do it that way. You could say, I'm looking here and I see that you're a real estate agent in the Atlanta market. And again, it's sort of like, I think this is you. I think you're an agent in Atlanta. And then this is key right here. I'm not sure if it makes sense for us to talk. Now, that is a very disarming technique. That is not what they're expecting in a sales pitch. They're not expecting you to say, I'm not sure if this makes sense for us to talk. Brings that guard down instantly. I'm not sure if it makes sense for us to talk, but I represent a group of buyers who purchase like 3 to 5 houses a month, and they had me reach out to you. Now, you could say, me, I'm a buyer, I do this, I buy houses. You could say that. That's totally fine. And if you're literally doing 3 to 5 deals a month, then you could say it that way. Sometimes I'll come across like that. Sometimes I'll say like, I've been doing this for 20 years. I'm the real deal because I can. All right. So sometimes I'll use that approach as like authority. But oftentimes it's much less threatening if you're like the guy for the company. You work at the company. These guys buy like crazy. I'm just reaching out to you to see if we could talk about something here. And so it's a very disarming because it's not threatening in any way when you're the guy on behalf of someone else. Now, when we say this, a group of buyers, you're talking about the cash buyers in your market that you're going to wholesale to. So again, I don't always use this because sometimes I'm the buyer. Sometimes I'm calling and I'm not sure, is this a good fix and flip that I like to do? So if you, without a doubt, are certain that you're going to wholesale it, like that's the goal, and you don't have a lot of transactional history, you're not transacting at a regular basis, even if you're brand new, this is fantastic. I represent a group of buyers. They purchase like 3 to 5 houses a month, and they had me reach out to you. Let me ask you, I'm curious. And then what you don't say, do you go on very many listing appointments where the property is in original condition or needs a lot of work, or maybe the seller is distressed in some way? Now, the question itself is great. It's a great question. The problem is, and the reason why you don't say it this way, is because remember how sales works. They have a wall up. The subconscious wants to say no, not yes. So when you say, do you go on very many distressed listing appointments? Their instant response is no. I got a wall up. No, I don't. Whatever you're trying to pitch me, no. Now, we want to get them to say no so that eventually leads to a yes. But how do we get them to say no, but it's a positive response? So here's how to say the same thing differently. This is how you do say it. When you go on a listing appointment, because we're assuming they do, because of course they do, every time they go on a listing appointment, there's a chance that it's distressed, and maybe 1 out of 10, but they definitely do this. So when you go on a listing appointment and the property is in poor condition or the seller's distressed, are you currently working with anyone who in that situation can provide you an as-is cash offer? Okay, so you're redirecting the question. Now when they say no, which is the immediate response, subconscious is no, the no is no, I don't work with anybody. And now I just opened the door to talk to you about working with you. See how that works? So it's a no, but it's the no we want, which is no, I'm not working with anybody. And it's also assuming that that is something that happens to them. Why ask something when we know what's happening? Do you go on very many listing appointments where it's like this? Of course they're going to say no. When you go on a listing appointment, are you working with anyone to handle that? No, I'm not. Now they might say yes. Okay, so if they kind of redirect this and they get back on their guard, they might say yes. So if they say yes, I already work with a few investors, then here's your cheerful tune. Oh man, that's really smart. Then don't say this. Would you be open to? Because again, what's the subconscious want to say? No. Would you open to having a brief conversation about how we could possibly triple your commission by working together on those distressed properties? No, is going to be their subconscious response. Instead, say, would you be opposed to? Now you ask the same question. Would you be opposed to having a brief conversation about how we could possibly triple your commission by working together on those distressed properties? So now when they say no, they're saying, no, I'm not opposed to talking to you about it. Always think of saying, would you be opposed to, rather than would you be open to? So if they say, no, I'm not working with anyone on distressed properties, then here's your concern tone. So what do you typically do? Do you list those properties on the MLS, or do you refer them to another agent in your office, or do you just turn those sellers away in that situation? Like, what do you do? I'm concerned. What do you do when that happens? And you're on appointment. You spent the time to get in your car, drive over there, and you find out the place is a wreck. What do you do? And the agent's going to answer one of three options. And you need to remember which one they answer. You're going to use this later. So whatever response they do, then you're going to say, would you be opposed to having a brief conversation about how we could possibly triple your commission on those distressed properties? So the agent might say, triple my commission? I'm not opposed to that. I'm listening. What do you mean triple my commission? How is that possible? They should be sort of like, triple my commissions? Okay. Well, how I turn those away and you're saying I could triple my commissions? And then we're going to say, well, here's how it would work. When you go on an appointment and the property's in original condition or needs a lot of work, suggest to the seller that you work with an investor who can provide a no obligation, fast and convenient as is cash offer. Let them know if they like the offer, it won't cost them any fees because we pay the commission and we pay the closing fees. Our offer will be net to them at closing. So you're now coaching the agent on what to say to the seller in that situation. And it's basically just offering a cash offer. Hey, let's entertain it. Let's see if this makes sense. If it makes sense, great. Let's take a look at that. If it doesn't, then we can explore listing it or some other option. You're teaching the agent how to offer this to the seller when it's a distressed situation. Now, this part's key. You have to help the agent see the money. This is where I see outreach go totally wrong, is they hang up the phone and the agent doesn't really grasp why they should be working with you. How is this beneficial? How are they going to make more money with you versus not doing this? So then you're going to say, and just so you know, we can pay you the full 6% commission. And if there's enough room in the deal, we can even go up to 10% on the commission. Now think about this. This should be mind-blowing to the agent. The full 6% and we pay it. So we have to build that into our number. Remember this. Like, guys, don't forget that if we're offering to pay the agent commission and we're going to pay $6,000 and our all-in number is $100,000, the number to the seller needs to be 94 so that we can add on 6,000 to pay the agent. So make sure you do the math correctly. We're building their fee into our offer price, but we're going to build that in and we're going to show that agent, look, you might get 3% if you list it and go through brain damage. I'll get to that in a minute. Work with me, refer it to me, you get 6%. And if there's room in the deal, I'll go up to 10%. These are leads that agents would be making nothing on or very little or doing a ton of work for not even worth the 3%. So you have to help them see the money. This is now when we're going to shift and we're going to use their previous response to how they handle this in the past to now help them see the pain and the solution. So what we're going to say is, let's say that they said that they typically still list those. Sometimes agents will say this to me, look, it's not about the money, it's about helping my client. And of course, I'll list their property and help them get the most money they can. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. You know that this is going to be a lot of work and it is about the money, because who wants to do a ton of work for hardly making any money? Nobody likes that. Even if they do it, they don't like it. And they would certainly like a better solution. When they say, yeah, we list those, we list everything. We don't not list something because it needs a lot of work. So this is what you would say. You'd say, instead of listing those problem properties and having to deal with showings, inspections, repairs, appraisals, all of that brain damage just to earn a 3% commission. Now we're going to go into the next part, but that would be the initial, instead of, imagine this, and then we're going to roll into that. But let me go through each of the three. So this is the pain squeeze. Instead of listing those problem properties, imagine. Or if they said, oh, you know what? When I run into that situation, there's a new agent in the office. I refer those to them. I let somebody else deal with that. I don't got time for distressed properties. If they say they refer them out, instead of referring those leads to another agent and only getting a tiny percentage of the listing commission, pain, you're not making any money doing that. Imagine. Or if they say, I just don't take those on. I just tell the seller, look, it's really not a good fit for me. Instead of turning those sellers away and earning zero commissions, so that would be your starter of each of those three, then you're going to say the following. This is what we call future casting. You're focusing on the pain of not making money, wasting time, and then how you provide the solution. And the solution is 3 times the revenue. So this is your confident tone. Imagine if you could make one phone call to me and get a 6 to 10% commission. And imagine if we did several deals like that a year or even every month. Boom, that's the pain. And here's how I can be a solution to that. 3 times as much money, and all you gotta do is make a phone call to me. I'll do the rest, make the offer. If they like the offer, you make 6 to 10% commission on that. How does that sound? Again, stop losing out on these pain. Here's how you can have a solution, triple your revenue. Now, the agent should jump up and down with excitement like a little kid on Christmas morning about to open presents, right? That's how this should go. They should be like, wow, yes, how do I sign up for this? What do we do here? This is where you want to like really hit it home now. Do you have any sellers that fit that category right now that we can take a look at? Do you have any problem listings right now that we can give you a cash offer on? And then I like to always say, look, is there anything I can do to help you in your business? I'm pretty connected to the market here. If you ever need help with contractors, lenders, whatever, I'm a good resource. Inspectors, whatever it is there anything I can help you with? Now, you're trying to bring value back to them. And then I like to finish out by saying, hey, save my number as Jerry Cash Buyer, because they're going to forget who you are probably. At least that's my experience. Save my number as Jerry Cash Buyer. Would you be opposed to me reaching out to you every week or so to see if you've got anything coming up or if I can help you in any way? And again, that's setting the stage that you're going to be following up, because we know in the game of agents, it's all about follow-up. The more you follow up and the more you stay front and center, the more they're going to think of you when they get that distressed situation, and they're going to call you versus call the next guy. You've got to be memorable here. And so, guys, we've added this to all my other scripts. If you go to that link there, Agent Offer Scripts, you're going to get my double dip technique, my listed property scripts. Now we've added in these outreach scripts. I've got my offer sheet in there that we give agents when it's time to make the offer. It's an entire bundle of all my agent stuff. Absolutely free. Why? Because I want you to win at this game. I want you to be my next 7-figure earner doing the agent model. I hope you got a lot of value out of this. Leave a comment and let me know your questions. I'd love your feedback. I want to see you put this script to the test, and I want you to let me know the results you're getting and how this is going to completely change the game for you. The next thing I want you to do is watch my agent manipulation model. This is how I brainwash agents, and this really goes into the objections. This goes into how I contact agents that have listed properties, how I really help them see the value in working with me. And again, I go through all the different objections. On this one, I didn't really go through many objections, but it's a training I do that's called how I brainwash agents to bring me their best deals. So watch that now, and I'll see you on the next video.